Okay. Um, we're going to get this. You might want to pause that, Scott,
Oh,
because
no, that's
we
fine.
still need to, we
It's
still
fine.
need to take a moment to write to David. Take a minute to write comments to David, if you would. Okay, it's a little bit. Our next speaker is Scott Burns, who is going to tell us about award-winning chili, how to make it. Award-winning chili, how to make it, by Scott Burns.
Thank you, Sarah. The story starts in a totally different way than you'd ever expect with chili. In the early 80s, I was living in Ventura, and some of my friends said, you know, we need to find ways that we can meet more girls. And it was decided that we would have a chili cook-off on the 3rd of July, because you have a lot of people coming into town, and they always have something to do on the 4th of July, but nothing on the 3rd. And they said, we're going to have a chili cook-off. Well, I was a bit of a nerd, so I really wasn't chasing women, but I made great chili. So in 1981, I won the contest. 1982, I won the contest. They decided they weren't going to do that contest anymore. But I really like chili. And sometimes you don't see me so emotional, but on chili, I really love chili. So this is exciting, and you guys are going to get some really good pointers out of this. Now, in 1994, we started a chili cook-off at our house in Santa Barbara. We had a chili cook-off going for 25 years. We would generally have between 100 and 150 people in our backyard, and between 10 and 16 people making chili. And so people really got into making chili. We had one lady who, the first time she came, she was going, oh, it's not that hard. She went over to Vons and got 2 big cans of chili. She was so embarrassed when she realized everybody else was making chili. She spent the next year practicing on her husband and daughter and won chili the next year. So she was good. So anyway, with chili, I'm going to give you some nice pointers that'll help you make very good chili. First, you're not making a stew, you're making a chili. So you take your meat and your onions and you saute them for about a half hour. Get the meat brown, get the onions so you can see through them, so they're transparent or translucent. I generally use stew meat because it's not that expensive, and you really don't need to put a lot of money into the meat. You take the meat, you cut it so it's about the size of your little finger, and you spend about a half hour cooking it. Now, you do that because that really gets it set before you put the sauce in. And the sauce has other characters in it, but talking on the main points, the second main point on chili, no beans. Just don't put beans in. There are so many other things you can put in that are more flavorful. Didn't mean to punt there, but try it again. Mushrooms, bell peppers. Take the bell peppers and cut them, and sometimes get the multicolored bell peppers, red, yellow, green, and chop them up and put them into the mixture. One thing you want to make sure of is you don't put in too hot of chili. There's something called jalapeno peppers. We had one guy at a cook-off who said, oh, I'm going to make the hottest chili possible. Nobody ate more than a spoonful. It was so hot. So don't make it so hot, but you do want to put some chili in there, and you do want to make it hot. Now, one of the things I do, I look at now with your sauce, with the mushrooms that you put in there and the peppers and the seasoning and all that, you can also add other items to it. Sometimes I've used chocolate. Other times I've thrown in ginger. You throw in about anything you want. You just make sure it tastes well. Now, the last point, the 3 main points, is time. A lot of people don't realize that it really takes time to make good chili. Now, this recipe, the high points that I'm bringing up, you can make it in 3 hours later, it's ready. But what you do, and what the lady who gave me this recipe told me is once you make it, you simmer for about 2 hours, put a lid on it, and just let it sit overnight on the stove. Don't put it in the refrigerator. Give it a day to just intermix, or however you want to call that. We also then, with the chili, we would, the next morning before we'd make it, before I'd serve it, I'd boil it just to make sure if anything went wrong that it would kill whatever that could possibly be in there. So at our chili cook-off, and I'm gonna go back here and let you guys look. This is the trophy that lasted for about 25, 26 years. My wife won it twice, and then another person won it, and she liked the trophy for so long, she gave the last winner a different trophy, and we've had it at our house ever since. So it's been a fun event. Now, one of the nice things with a chili cook-off that has nothing to do with how you make it, but we always would have to come up with judges. And it was interesting because you never would let a spouse be a judge. You'd always double check to make sure that the person didn't have any real connection with another person. And I would find 3 people, I'd ask them to judge the chilies, and then pick the best chili. And we would give out an award for the best chili. We would also give out an award for the chili that was eaten the fastest, or we ran out of chili the quickest. And every year, everyone had fun because it was a chili cook-off. It was more of a party. We also did it on the 3rd of July, but by the time we did this, I was married. I wasn't chasing women. I was happy. We had a son. Everything was going well. But anyway, the main pointers, let the meat cook and let it brown, saute the onions, give it some time, give it like a day to sit on, to rest, and don't use any beans. There's so many other ways to do it. I hope you guys will now be able to make award-winning chili. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. I'm hungry already. So please take a minute to send comments to Scott, who stepped in at the last minute and a very brave and excellent performance.